Yeah, buddy.
So currently just leaving Darkside. We've got 3 hours and 20 minutes to go before we get there. The race truck's already set off, but with Scott driving it, he's probably driving it backwards, so we'll beat him there. See you later. Right then, we've arrived.
Welcome to Snetterton.
Yeah, buddy. So we've just caught the last of Scott attempting to park the wagon. Hello, Mr. Scott.
Alright.
How are you?
Diving that, wasn't it?
Good morning, sports fans. We're here at a very lovely, where are we? Snetterton.
This reminds me of a story actually.
This does not remind me of a story.
Adam, may you please give us some content?
Hello.
As it seems, this is not going very well. So the scrutineers came, and as it seems our brake lights do not really work. Paul is trying to fix it. I think we are getting there. Tom, say hi for the YouTube people. No, he doesn't want to. So after serious consideration of the suspension setup and why didn't make changes, we came up with this solution. A laser beam and a target which you cannot really see. So we started lifting the car until we saw it moving. And we saw it moving, which is not ideal, I would dare to say.
If you follow this dot on here, that's our laser beam, and if you can see it very well. But if I go across like that slow the frames down, you can see when we were jumping on the car that the dot moves up and down, which is far from it. It might only be a couple of mil, but obviously front to back of the car, that's going to be amplified massively.
So this week the team decided to take part in a stance meeting. So as you can see, we are doing the clearance. Yeah, it's all about that camber.
Just waiting on the race starting here. We're all getting ready to go out there. We have qualified P2 in the TT and P5 in the Golf. Wish us luck. Currently in P1 is Adam Blair. Is out, which means the whole pack has grouped back together, which means the lead that Adam did have, he now doesn't have, because the gap is closed up. But what this does mean is there's going to be a close pack of race cars coming past next time, like angry wasps.
legal side of things, but not very good for us for the race, because we have leftover performance on the table, as it seems. Yeah, this explains something.
What?
Third gear's gone. Second day is about to start. It's the KA racing. Here we can see the legendary 36 with the legendary Adam Blair.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, one of the greatest drivers
This
to ever
side
set
of the
foot
river,
on this
right?
earth. And here we see the legendary Jake, the legendary Paul, the legendary Tom. He makes an exhaust that makes 15 horsepower in a naturally aspirated car. And there we can see the big boss. And there we can clearly see Mr. Supervisor, the legend, the man, the myth. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Also, we conducted some modifications to the car, as we can clearly see here. Exit on the headlight. And the race is about to start.
Keep an eye as well on Road 2, the Napa-backed number 36 car, IP Racing, always up at the sharp end. I understand it's going to be Scott Parkin taking the start in that one. Adam Blair and Mark Witherington to come in that car. 9 hours of racing then is about to get underway. Safety car has peeled off this time, so we will go racing for 9 hours in just a few seconds. It's going to be the 734 car leading off the line, surely, unless he gets a particularly bad run towards the first corner. Ritchie's, they are underway and they are racing, and the Ferguson Motorsport 734 car it is that leads as they run down to the first corner for the first time. IP Racing going to try for the inside into second place on the Wolf Motorsport car, and it is side by side for P2 as the Wolf Motorsport 26 car trying to go all the way around the outside. It's Chris Reed at the wheel of the 26 car. Head of the order at the moment. It is a proper convoy which is being closed up at the moment by the 18 car, Axiometrics. Oh, a roll for the 26 car. Oh, goodness me, the Wolf Motorsport car in a roll there, and that was not a small roll either. Chris Reed there having a big moment, and that was just going through Brundle and Nelson. And good to see that the car seems to be in fine fettle at the moment with Tom Elson at the wheel. Black and orange flags for two cars, the 36 and the 114. The 36, of course, is our race leader. So that is big news. Scott Parkin with a black and orange flag. The black and orange flag, otherwise known as the meatball flag, means that something is amiss with the car. There's nothing obvious from a visual perspective. Next time they go across the line, I'm just going to listen, see if maybe it's a bit louder than the other cars. That might be what's happening there.
IP Racing then are into the pits to respond to their black and orange mechanical flag. It does mean then we have a new race leader for 734 Ferguson Motorsport, as driven by Joe Ferguson there. There is IP Racing. They've wheeled the car back out and away it goes. So Scott Parkin then, he'll be, I'm sure the team will be a little bit frustrated with that one, but they will have given the car the once over, and we still have 8 hours and 20 minutes on the clock, so there's still a long, long way to go. It will rejoin, and interesting to see where it does rejoin once we, once the timing screen keeps up and updates itself. But that means then it's the two Ferguson Motorsport cars leading the way. Whether that's working together or not, I'm not sure. Scott Parkin as well is also dispatching. He's on a charge. He's now up into 9th place. The number 72 Misty Racing has just been awarded a black and white warning flag for track limit. So they're starting to pile up now, these warnings and these track limit warnings. So not many teams are left with a clean slate at the moment.
So there is the Burton Power racing car, which has been demoted a position. Andy Burton has been kind of dueling with Tom Elson in the VEC Motorsport car for an overwhelming majority of the race thus far. And both of them have now been dispatched by Scott Parkin. Parkin, who is one of many drivers who raced with us yesterday as well. He was in Turismo-X racing with his Volkswagen Golf TDI. Driving from both parties at the head of the order, the sharp end of the order. We see the 36 car coming onto the Bentley straight at the moment, and that is, of course, Mark Witherington at the wheel of the IP racing machine at the moment. He's fairly strong in the 143s on pace at the moment, which is top 10 worthy pace.
For the time being, we are third, with Mark behind the wheel. We had an unfortunate moment in the beginning of the race where we had to do a pit stop because we had a fuel leak. Back then we used to be first, but now we don't. But yeah, it's going well. As it seems, we are going to swap the place where we're doing the pit stops, because our pit stop lane is at an angle. So the very kind marshals allows us to use that one because it's very flat. And this is Paul and Jake having some fun in the sun. And Mr. Scott. Hello!
It's third place, the number 36 IP Racing at Mark Witherington, rounding off the top three so far. I have to say, what an effort, what an effort from the IP Racing team, because the first hour was hugely frustrating for them. They had the fuel issues, they had the mechanical flag as well because the fuel was spurting out. They had to come back in the third time. When I was speaking to Adam Blair down there in the pit lane, it was a case of that they had to stop early because there wasn't any fuel in the car when they stopped. And that may have alluded to the earlier issues of the fact that the fuel was spurting out of the car in the first place. But yeah, a hugely frustrating and telling opening hour, but they bounced right back. Burke. And meanwhile, here comes IP Racing then, the number 36, Adam Blair behind the wheel, and he looks to the inside of the 88, not for position, mind, but he looks down the inside, takes away that track position as well. IP Racing currently running in 8th place at the moment. They've got themselves past Axiometrics, however, they are not for position. So Adam Blair looking to just get one lap at least taken off of their overall gap, which is currently at, well, it was at 3 laps. They're now within 2 laps of the race leader.
Waits Adam Blair, who comes across the line now. What kind of gap is there now between this man, Tim Wheeldon, and Blair? It's at 32 seconds now, so again, another second taken out of Adam Blair in this lead scrap. Often in endurance racing, the battle for him as well, doesn't it? Wheel firmly up in the air there for Adam Blair. There comes the 36 car. We've had Griffiths across the line. He's getting quicker. He was in the high 44s last time. He was in the low 44s on that lap. So he is getting closer and closer to the pace of Parkin, which will help him minimise the loss of the gap. Parkin across the line, 23.1 seconds. So only 1.3 seconds slower that time was Griffiths compared to Parkin. So Griffiths is slowly picking up the pace as the stint wears on. But Parkin's still closing in.
Yes. So all really going in the favour of Scott Parkin. Gap 23.1 when they headed to the line last time around. Nigel Griffiths there just looking to put in some consistent pace, but he is being closed in by Scott Parkin.
Recently, the gap between the top two is down under 10 seconds. Nigel Griffiths, the 18 Axiometrics.com car that you see in the lead right now, is now just 9.8 seconds clear of Scott Parkin, and we know, looking at the timing screen, that that gap is continuing to shrink. It was up over 40 seconds in the not too distant past. It's a lot less than that now, and Parkin in the 36 car continues to lap sometimes a second, sometimes more faster than Griffiths lap on lap. It won't be long before that 36 is right there with Axiometrics.com's 18 car.
Because here comes Scott Parkin though. He's trying to look for a move down the inside in towards Murray's. Is he close enough? Not just yet, but he'll have an immense amount of tow down the start-finish straight, down the centre straight towards Riches once again.
Followed up by Chapman onto the Bentley straight in this 200 configuration, and once again Parkin hasn't quite got by yet, but I think Billy Ferguson just ahead, stifling the momentum of the Axiometrics car, and Parkin is through into the lead as they drag race down the Bentley straight. A bit of a tow for Griffiths from the back of that 734 car, Billy Ferguson. Of course, Ferguson has every right to keep pushing. He is fourth overall himself. So a front runner in his own right. Flash of the headlights though from Scott Parkin. He wants an easy get by. Not sure he's going to get it though. Ferguson fully locked in on taking advantage of capitalising, having fun with his stint that he didn't get earlier on. And now Parkin again flashing the headlights. He says, I don't want to have to fight you. I've already just taken the lead. I don't want to have to fight to lap somebody. But Parkin needs to keep the car on the straight and narrow here to make sure he doesn't lose the lead he just gained.
Yeah. Going now in towards Riches here. I can't imagine Billy Ferguson is going to battle too hard for this. He might just try and hang himself on the inside, but Parkin round the outside still having to battle away. That's not the battle for position, but they're now heading up towards Wilson Hairpin. Has Scott Parkin managed to outbrake the 734? Yes, he has. He takes the racing line. So IP Racing then, the number 36, Scott Parkin, is in the lead of the race with less than 2 hours till the checkered flag. And entrusted, of course, to take the checkered flag and see what he can get up to there. It is a tiring, long day, especially for IP Racing there. Tyres as a pillow is a new one in my book, but whatever works, whatever works. Well, IP Racing, though, we saw down there in the garage, looking relaxed at the moment, and they've got a 62-second lead with 64 minutes left on the clock.
Yes. Seems like the good place to be.
Alright, you can snooze a little bit, watch a bit of the racing, look at the TC's very nice like.
Yeah.
Good view.
Yeah, amazing view.
Yeah, really.
With Adam Bonham behind the wheel. Parkin here making his way now into the pit lane. So IP Racing coming now into the pits, making sure they slow that car down then. Scott Parkin comes into the pits. They're the very first pit box here.
Yeah. They're the first pit stop box here, but what they've done is they've inherited kind of the little pit box that exists just beyond the garages. So they're here at the moment. It's going to be Adam Blair that takes over for the final stint of the race. Refueling commences now, of course, all hands off deck when it comes to the refueling. Adam Blair getting into the car now. They're strapping him in. You say there the 18 car has taken over the lead, so let's see what Adam Blair can do. He's going to go hunting. They've got 4 tyres there, you'll note, new tyres. That's because they knew they were being watched. They never had any intention of changing the tyres, but they wanted to give their rivals, you know who, the impression that perhaps they needed 4 tyres. They don't. They have 2 jugs of fuel there, but they only needed 1. Adam Blair is off with a slightly strategic play on that pit stop.
But there is Adam Blair. Really has got the bit between his teeth. He must have been told that the next car ahead of him is Dominic Jackson at this point. We know they've got a pit to car radio in that IP Racing car. He must have been told by now that that car ahead is the one for second place and put the lap on it.
35 minutes to go. Adam is leading. Scott did amazingly well, and now Adam is, as expected, the fastest driver in the grid. He's doing 142.
Providing stellar entertainment once again.
It's going pretty well, I think.
With 35 minutes left to go. And surely Dominic Jackson will be fuming. He'll be furious at some of the driving that's going on behind him, because Dan Ferguson fancies getting his hands dirty, even up on the sausage curb. seemingly trying to get involved in this lead battle, and now he was blocking Adam Blair there for a minute, and Blair, I think, may now be getting past Ferguson. Looks like he is. The run off the corner, off of Wilson and into Chapman, was compromised.
In the 734 Ferguson Motorsport, Daniel Ferguson, he's not done with them either. Adam Blair then looking to take the title line through. It's got him a good run here up towards Wilson. He'll have the inside line in towards Wilson. He's later on the brakes as well. Adam Blair in IP Racing does get the lap then on Axiometrics. Dominic Jackson goes behind. He's not done with the battle yet though. He gets a better run coming out of Chapman, and now down the Bentley straight. They're going to be running side by side here, and more importantly for Dominic Jackson, he has the inside line as they head their way in towards Brundle, but he'll put himself on the outside of Nelson if he can't get the move done now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, isn't it? He had the momentum. Of course, Dominic Jackson, a very, very tall man, built like a rugby player. Adam Blair built like a jockey, two different sportsmen at the moment. And Jackson, though, still managed to out-drag the number 36 car. However, Adam Blair hasn't given up on it yet, side by side through the bomb hole. Oh, goodness me. I think they just about managed to stay away from each other there. They're still side by side as they run through Coram, the long, sweeping right-hand bend, and we wait with bated breath to see whether or not they're going to find a way to both go through Murray's side by side, because they've done half the lap already, and yes, they do, albeit with Adam Blair going off track, and Dan Ferguson fancies a bit of it too. 3 wide as they run down the centre straight. None of these cars are even on the same lap right now, but still compelling viewing. IP Racing's Adam Blair on the inside line then, and is officially speaking a lap ahead by about 1/10 of a car as they run towards Ritchie's, and I think this time Blair has got past Jackson definitively to put the Axiometrics 18 car a lap down, and now the 734 car is once again in the middle of the sandwich.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speak too soon. There's 9 minutes of the race left, and Adam has currently got a very comfortable 1 lap lead. So fingers crossed everything goes swimmingly and we come across the line in pole position. We do have a 10-second penalty, but that will be irrelevant when it comes to it because we're miles in front. And here comes Adam now.
So this is the final lap of the race for this man, for this car, for IP Racing, for Adam Blair, for Scott Parkin and Mark Witherington. 9 hours at Snetterton has been a hard-fought battle between IP Racing, Axiometrics and the rest of the grid, but it's going to be IP Racing with their first win of the EnduroCar 2022 season.
Spot on. We've won! So, he's taken the last seat to take the glory, haven't you, Adam?
Yeah, as always.
P1 always?
Yeah, well, no, but I always take the glory. So
how did you find your drive?
Well, Matisse asked me to overtake P2 to lap them, and I wasn't sure it was a good idea. We had a little bit of body rub at Coram, but I did it because he asked.
Well done.
Well done, Jake. What a super team.
Thank you very much.
Darkside IP.
We'll do it in reverse order as usual. Third, ECU Motorsport. In second place, team of Axiometrics.
Just for the podium.
First place, our race winner, IP Racing.
Battery died on the GoPro, so we continue